January 2025, only 6 Premier League bosses actually held the official title of manager rather than head coach. Man City's Pep Guardiola, David Moyes of Everton, Ipswich boss Kieran McKenna, Southampton's Ivan Juric, Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace and Leicester's Ruud van Nistelrooy were the only actual managers of their respective teams. Everyone else? That's right, head coach, including Ruben Amorim at Man United. He took over from Erik ten Hag, a man who had held the title of manager. Might come as a surprise that Amorim's appointment marked the first time ever that Man United had a head coach instead of a manager. But to understand why they made that decision, you also have to get what the difference is between a head coach and a manager. A manager's got a huge range of responsibilities. They're not just in charge of training and player lineups, they're also heavily involved in player sales and transfers. Critical stuff. But a head coach's role is far more focused on team training and performance on the pitch. So whereas Ten Hag was highly involved with decisions around transfers during his tenure, the intention was that Amorim wouldn't be, at least not on the same level. And as the sporting structure at Man United changed under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, people like Sir Dave Brailsford took charge of transfers instead. How all those roles play out in practice may be slightly different at different clubs though. On the other hand, the contracts of actual managers like Pep or Moyes had no limits on their job role and their involvement with transfers and contracts. But those guys are actually in the minority now, and it's a change that's happened pretty quickly. In 2019, there were only 6 head coaches in the Premier League, but by 2025, there were 14. A clear indication that more and more clubs are moving towards a model where the guy in charge is actually only really in charge on the pitch. And the way things are going, it might not be long before all 20 clubs have got head coaches, and the job position of football manager in the top flight is no more.
Morning, my loves. How are you? Welcome along to Early Breakfast on talkSPORT. Shebahn with you till 6, and then it's Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor on talkSPORT Breakfast. We're here with Adrian Flux. Insurance for the individual. You can find out more adrianflux.co.uk. Nick Ellerby is here with a look at what's coming up in the next hour. Nicholas.
What a night, Shebahn. Grimsby have knocked Man United out of the League Cup on penalties. An absolute shocker of a performance. Onana had a howler. Amorim out is trending on social media. Man United fans, is this a new low? Yeah, I mean it is, isn't it? Give us a call. Rangers, have Man United spared your blushes? No. And have you just gone and taken the heat off Celtic? Not really. Russell Martin's men were defeated 9-1 on aggregate by Club Brugge. You'll hear from him ahead of the Old Firm this weekend. Champions League draws this afternoon. Kev Hatchard will join Andy and Darren on Drive to analyse the matchups as they come out. Plus, transfer news. And we'll look at the front and back pages of today's papers.
Oh, Nick, thank you. You're listening to Early Breakfast on talkSPORT with Adrian Flux. Insurance for the individual. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. What a night.
What a night. I'm going to claim some of this glory. My grandparents are from Grimsby.
Oh, well done.
So, in a way...
really happy for you.
I've contributed. Huh. I mean, the thing is, United were just really... I mean, they actually were the worst, Grimsby were the better team in the first half. It wasn't just that they got outfought; they got outplayed.
Grimsby were good.
Well, yeah, decent.
Grimsby were good.
No words, is there?
It was shocking, absolutely shocking that those players on those wages, wearing that shirt, have allowed that to happen. Not taking it away from Grimsby, they were better, but Man United, hang your head in shame.
Also, great picture on the back of the Times. I noticed that Onana couldn't catch a ball all night.
He couldn't catch a cold.
But the Grimsby's sort of former Man United youth player, Tyrrell Warren, that scored the second goal, looks like he's actually caught the ball there.
Yeah, I mean, it did look like...
Which is more than Onana could do.
I mean, it was just an absolute shocker. Honestly, the pressure right now on Ruben Amorim, who last night sat in the dugout almost like he was on the verge of a breakdown.
He couldn't even watch.
Couldn't watch, doing this sort of weird, I know it's not good for radio, but if you watch on smart TV, he was kind of like shuggling around, and then he had his whiteboard out and his magnets. I don't think he did the penalty team talk. I didn't see him in that huddle.
That's weird.
That I thought the staff did that. It just, all of it was just, there was zero confidence about going about in there.
Talking about zero confidence, Benjamin Šeško took the 10th penalty.
10th penalty. All kinds of wrong, Nick. I mean, what a week. Celtic, I didn't think it could get any worse. Last night was awful. Rangers, awful. Who's the biggest embarrassment in football this week? Celtic, Rangers or Manchester United? You can have your vote on that this morning. Deary me, 81089. And I'm also looking for a new football team, because everyone's always got to say, how many teams you got to do?
Got that bad?
Celtic and Man United are my teams. I've got 2 teams. If you've got a problem with it, don't let it bother you.
What's the closest team to this building? Millwall.
Millwall. Yeah, this is true.
Go
this
for
is
it.
true.
Looking pretty good under Alex Neil.
Grimsby. Stoke are doing all right.
Well, yeah. I'm not gonna talk about that.
Oh my gosh, honestly, an absolute shocker.
Chin up, Shebahn.
I know, chins up, as they say. Back page of the Sun, hook, line and stinker drama as Happy Haddock boys knock out Amarine on pens. Grim for Amarine is the headline in the Times. The Telegraph going for Grim Reapers, very good. United humiliated, that is the word. It's just full humiliation for Man United. Can it possibly get any worse? Surely not, but I've made the mistake in saying that before. Manchester United last night, defeat to Grimsby Town. Massive congratulations to the Trawlermen and Harry the Haddock. You really had the night of your life. Who the hell wants to get rid of the League Cup, especially when it's going to provide nights like this?
And Burma with a little jogging run up has missed. It's in the underside of the bar, and Grimsby Town have knocked Manchester United out of the League Cup. And there's a pitch invasion, about 500 strong. The Grimsby players are engulfed. It looked for all the world as though their chance had gone. They blew a 2-0 lead in the last 15 minutes. They were behind in the shootout, but Christy Pym saved from Cunha. And then Mbermo, a myriad of penalties later, smacks one off the underside of the bar.
If you missed it last night, Man United started the game with no Bruno Fernandes, no Mbermo and no De Ligt. Man United back 3 with Maguire, in the middle flank by the inexperienced Tyler Fredrickson and Aidan Heaven. Grimsby absolutely tore them a new one. The Trawlermen were 2-0 up at half-time thanks to goals from Charles Vernam and former Man United youth player Terrell Warren. And Mbermo came on in the second half to pull one back before Harry Maguire's back post header made it 2-2. And then the penalty shootout was epic. Part of me was looking and going, when is this going to wrap up? Benjamin Šeško, Nick mentioned it earlier on, was the 10th player for Man United to take a penalty. Why? How? Why? What are you thinking? £70 million striker, the last outfield player to take a penalty. What is going on at Manchester United? Eventually, Mbermo smashed the 12th United penalty onto the crossbar, and Grimsby had inflicted one of the League Cup's biggest ever shocks. talkSPORT's Dean Ashton was in the co-comms chair, shocked as well.
Yeah, let's not make any mistake. That's an absolute shocker for Manchester United and Ruben Amorim. I mean, like you said, because now the whole performance is going to be analysed, and every decision that was made, the players will be looked at, of course, all because of losing the penalty shootout. It comes down to spot kicks, but he shouldn't have. All the talent were here. Nobody left at home. All those big names are on in that second half, and they weren't able to do it. There's going to be big questions, but this is Grimsby's night. There's no one that would have really given them a hope before the game. They put in an incredible team performance and fully deserve to enjoy this too.
They wanted it more. Manchester United fans, where are we going from here? Burnley this weekend in the Premier League. If they don't win, I think Ruben Amorim is gone, and I hate to say that, and I want it to work for Amorim. I think he seems like a good guy, you know, big personality, lots of character, but at the end of the day, he's putting that team out last night. You need to be able to get a tune out of them, and it's just not happening. And you look at the progress against Arsenal, where they looked like the better side as well, and then the drop off so quickly in the week to the state of that last night. I don't know how you defend it. I really don't. It was abysmal. 03717223344. Amory Now is trending on social media already. Are you Amory in or Amory Now? Man United fans. The floor is yours, 03717 223344. Let's hear from the manager himself. He said he was completely lost after that performance.
Ruben, thank you very much for your time. What's the most disappointing aspect of that performance tonight?
Everything. The way we start the game, we were not even here. When everything is so important in our club, everything that happened, it's a problem in our club. We should do so much better. So I just have to say sorry to our fans, and I felt my players spoke really loud today what they want.
Can you just elaborate on that? What you mean? Your players spoke very loud on what they want.
Easy for you. Let's focus on the next game, and then we have the stop for the international games. We will think things through.
When it came to penalties, did it matter from that point, having been taken to penalties, what the result was?
Doesn't matter. In the penalties, the feeling is the same. I think football was really fair today. The best team won.
Is it fair to say, Ruben, that a lot of the mistakes that you saw tonight, a lot of the problems tonight are problems that you saw the back end of last season, that there has been no discernible improvement?
And that is more than the result, that is the biggest problem in the team. I think was really clear today.
Ruben Amorim there, I'm just watching him on the TV just now as well. The shock on his face, those clips of him in the dugout, unable to watch his players take those penalties. He was a bag of nerves. He cannot believe it. Honestly, like I say, I want it to work for Ruben Amorim. I really, really do. I really mean that. But can it get any worse than this? Well, there's Burnley this weekend. We'll wait and see what happens. Christy Pym, by the way, was the goalkeeper for Grimsby last night. He's on talkSPORT Breakfast, I think, at 9 o'clock this morning with Alan Brazil. He's a Manchester United fan. Even he said he's annoyed at the state of their performance against them last night. It's just unbelievable. Let's hear from the winning manager. Some positivity. Grimsby boss Dave Artell told talkSPORT that he's super proud.
Even the save penalty, it was a world-class save from Aherne. It was in the top corner. How he's got to that penalty to save the one that we did miss was unbelievable as well. But that's because the players play with that freedom. Go on, express yourself. I said to him before the game, part of our game plan, be brave. Be brave. Don't regret not being brave. And if you make a mistake trying to play football, it's on me, not you. Don't worry about it. I'll take the rap. And that's how we want to play. That's how we express ourselves. Like I said, we should have scored more goals than the two we did, and that's the disappointing thing from my point of view. It didn't surprise me we played like that. I appreciate against world-class players, you never know. You know, we sat in the game in the office before going, well, you never know, but it's going to be a tough night. It was a tough night. You know, they've got world-class players, and look, it's a fantastic night for the football club, and I'm still really extremely proud of what the players have produced.
Oh, he seems like a great guy. And he was just... I was looking at the difference in the managers last night before that penalty shootout. I don't know if it's... Did you watch it last night? Was Ruben Amorim doing like the kind of team talk before the shootout? I don't think he was there. It looked like the staff who were doing it. I couldn't see Amorim at this point. I kept saying to Jamie, where is he? Where's he gone? And then I looked at Artell and he just had them, pumped up, and he was communicating with, I don't know, it's just, it was their night. Fair play Grimsby, fair play to them. And then you look for that little bit of sympathy and love, don't you? So you go to the sports bar where Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara were just, absolutely on one. Listen to this.
Manchester United, how on earth, this has got to be in the modern time, since the Premier League is 1992, this has got to be the worst result of their history, right? I know there's been bad results in the past, but in the modern era, surely this is the worst result ever.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Has to be.
Considering the fact they've got no European football this season.
Oh, my gosh.
You know what I mean? They've got to win a trophy. They've got to try to start the season well.
Mamma mia!
And they've got no European football, no midweek games, and they can't beat Grimsby. Do me a favour.
By the way, Grimsby, I can say it again, well played them, by the way.
Yeah,
brilliant. They put everything. And the first 25, 30 minutes, Manchester United, what was I watching? Grimsby had the fight, the desire, the urgency. Manchester United didn't know how to deal with it. Eventually, I mean, they got themselves back, and that takes some doing, by the way, because they were terrible tonight. Harry Maguire gets another goal. But to go out, the pain that must feel for being outplayed for an hour, right? The second best, and they come quality told. But to lose like that, woo!
And they were 3-0 up as well, and there was a disallowed goal for Grimsby. It truly was an absolute shocker. Man United fans, what happens next? Do we wait and see what happens against Burnley? Are you Amarine in or Amarine out? This is a new low. 0371722 3344. We heard from callers in Sports Bar last night saying it's time to get Sean Dyche in. Can you believe it? You're listening to Early Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we're going to hear from another man under huge pressure, Russell Martin, after the one of the most depressing nights in Rangers football history. Good morning. Good morning, Shebahn Aherne here on Early Breakfast on talkSPORT with Adrian Flux. Get a tailor-made quote for your commercial vehicle. Search Adrian Flux Insurance for the individual. Last night, if you tuned into the Sports Bar, you would have heard Shebahn Aherne and Jason Cundy absolutely smashing Man United and their fans to pieces after that performance last night. If you were watching it on the smart TV, you would have had a real giggle because they were both dressed as clowns. Don't forget, you can watch it all on the talkSPORT YouTube channel or on your smart television. All of the action from the studio. Alan Brazil is back on Breakfast this morning from 6 o'clock with Gabby Agbon-Lahore. Man United were so bad last night. We didn't even have time for this before the break. Rangers boss Russell Martin feels there is a way forward for him despite another massive setback. Rangers were embarrassed in Belgium, thrashed 6-0 by Club Brugge in the second leg of their playoff. That's a 9-1 aggregate score, drops them out of the Champions League. After the game, Martin was asked if he had a message to the fans and the players after one of the worst results in Rangers' history.
Yeah, there is no message to the players right now. I think we have to just feel the pain. So that is the message. There's no point in dissecting the game after that when everyone's emotions are high. We'll take a look at it. To the fans, I have nothing but an apology. I'm really sorry they had to witness that, and it is humiliating. It's really painful. So I have nothing but disappointment and hurt that they've had to go through that.
Russell, there was some chance throughout the first half aimed at yourself. Given the nature of the defeat, do you worry about your future now? I know it's short, but just given the anger and frustration around it.
No. I think we had such a tough task tonight, and we made it. The most hurtful thing is we make it so tough for ourselves. We did last Tuesday, we did tonight. So much self-inflicted pain. And then our response, because we're not strong enough as a group yet, our response to a bit of disappointment is just so poor. So poor.
28th of August, we've had Russell Martin, Ruben Amorim and Brendan Rodgers all in the last 48 hours honestly look like they're on the verge of tears in their post-match interviews. You know, it's just such an awful week of football for these massive clubs. I mean, Scottish football seems like it's on its knees at the moment. I think that what happened to Celtic the other night was obviously embarrassing. Rangers then last night. And then we've got the Old Firm this weekend. Rangers fans, if you're up and about, how are you feeling this morning? We're all there with you. 03717 223344 is the number. Trending on social media this morning, Amorim in and Amorim out. Ruben Amorim under huge pressure at this stage of the season. They've got Burnley this weekend, knocked out of the Cup last night by League Two's Grimsby. They won on penalties and a shocking performance to go along with it. Good morning to John, the Grimsby fan and the Manchester United fan. John, how are you today?
I am over the moon. Just like to say one thing, up the Mariners, the mighty Mariners.
John, hold on. So you're a Man United fan, but you grew up in Grimsby, is that right?
Yep, I've born and bred Grimsby. I'm a season ticket holder, me and my lad at Grimsby Town. They're my team, but the top tier team that I support is Man United, and I've done since I was 6-7-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of those people who has a couple of teams as well. Born into Celtic, married into Man United, and it's okay to have two teams. I mean, last night though, a tale of two halves. I mean, you must be, buzzing for Grimsby to cause that shock. But what about Man United?
Well, I'd just like to say one thing, that Amorim, he got his formation, and he has got his formation totally wrong, and I don't know why he plays 5 at the back. I really don't get it. And even though Man United was so bad last night, I just don't think with the fans we had last night and the noise we made and the passion we showed, I don't think any team would have beat us last night on how we played. But the one person that stood out that was the worst player on the pitch was Onana. And I've been saying it as a Town fan watching them and as a United fan, what is Onana doing in that goal? He is a shambles. There's famous words from Cundy and O'Hara, utter shambles.
Yeah, there's no other way to describe it. He was absolutely miles off it. There was a discussion in the office this morning, John, if we took Christy Pym and put him in the Man United team, Man United would have won. I mean, how is that happening?
Definitely. He pulled off one save all night, Onana, and that was the penalty save. That was it. That's all he did all night. Even in the pre-warm-up, he didn't look at it. He looked like he was getting rifled by the fans, because at Brundle Park, what United don't deal with week in, week out is that there's a good 10, 15, 20 feet away from the fans, and at Brundle Park, you're on top of the players. Yeah. There's about a 5-6 foot gap, and you're on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean...
They just struggled with everything, and Town was amazing last night, and we was brilliant. And it wasn't just me that noticed how bad United was. Like the United fans, when we scored our first goal, they just went quiet, and you didn't hear them again until United scored their first goal.
Yeah.
The United fans was quiet all night.
Stunned. Absolutely stunned. Great caller, John, the Grimsby fan and Man United fan, who was at the game last night. Yep, there's no other way about it. You can't cover it up. Man United were atrocious and Grimsby were by far the better team. 03717 223344 is the number to have your say on that result last night. New lows for Manchester United, really. Where do we go from here? Everton, by the way, avoided a League Cup shock with a 2-0 victory over Mansfield. Fulham got past Bristol City by the same score, while Brighton thrashed Oxford 6-0. Everton fans feeling like you're settling into that new stadium. I think there was turnstile problems again. We heard from Seamus Coleman as well, who's very, very positive about Everton and their future, and saying that the Everton fans deserve some good times as well. You hear from him across the day here on talkSPORT. Nick is here for a quick look at today's back pages.
Hello. Sorry, I was just looking at some of these back pages again. I mean, it would be amiss of me not to go through some of these headlines. Grim for Amorim. Fish and drips, and Burmo misses as Minnows batter Ruben's rabble in spot kick thriller. So grim on the back of the Mirror, back of the Sun, hook, line and stinker. And Shebahn, do you remember saying this yesterday?
If Man United lose this, I'll leave the country. Okay, I promise you. I'll hold you to that. Stick a tenner on it. Oh man, I've just done myself out of job, haven't I? I swear I'm the queen of jinx.
Where are you going to go?
I'm actually going on holiday to Greece at the weekend, so
technically,
it's worked out okay for me.
You are actually going to leave the country.
I am actually leaving the country.
You just didn't say when you were going to come back.
What an absolute shambles of a couple of days, though, for both of my teams, which I'm often mugged off for having both teams, like Celtic and Man United, to be the laughingstock of football back to back.
Well, don't worry, Celtic are not the laughingstock of Scottish football.
Well, then Rangers kind of, took the shit. No, I still think that was the worst.
Russell Martin just looked at Brendan Rodgers and said, "Hold my beer."
Come the Old Firm this weekend. The Old Firm this weekend. I'll be watching with my dad on holiday. What's happening?
Just quickly on Man United, Gareth Southgate now the favourite to be the next Man United manager. 5-1 on talkSPORT bet. Michael Carrick 5-1 as well.
We're actually talking about placing him. You absolutely cannot get rid of Ruben Amorim. You have to stick to it. He said Man United would suffer, right?
Yeah, but not
suffering is happening.
Not this much.
This is suffering.
Yeah, but so he's out of the League Cup, right? He's obviously he's saying it's good not to have any European football. He's got what? Has he got 28 points from 29 league games?
Yes,
he's the worst manager in Man United history.
But you look at the signings last night. They were the best players on the pitch, right? Yeah. And Mbeumo and Cunha, yes, they missed the penalties.
You hope so, playing against a League Two side.
Exactly, and they're his signings, so he knows what he wants to do. It's not going to happen overnight. Now, Burnley at the weekend, I think, will be telling. It will be telling. If he loses to Burnley, I think, yes, there's a very good chance that he could lose his job. Do I want that to happen? No.
No, I mean...
No, they have to give him time. But listen, the state of that performance last night, they could be going about relegation easy.
Yeah, sure. And obviously, never forget that Alex Ferguson nearly lost his job when he...
4 years.
Mark Robins' goal in the FA Cup saved him, didn't it? Anyway, quick one. I don't know if we...
This is awful. Though.
This caught my eye on the back of the Daily Mail. This is an exclusive by Aizan Khan. Top flight stars accused in match-fixing bombshell. Former head of an international crime investigation unit claims Premier League players are fixing matches. This is a Swedish police detective who's uncovered organised crime in sport. The bombshell, it says here, leaves the FA facing serious questions over the scale of the problem. They have not received the investigation's findings and are keen to assess them. I always do think that the scale of, I don't know whether match fixing, certainly spot fixing, is probably bigger than we really know about.
Wow, what a story. Okay, Nick, thank you very much. That was a look at today's back pages. Coming up next, we're going to hear from Hassan, the Man United fan, who actually nearly cried on the sports bar last night. Good morning.
Who doesn't love the Ryder Cup, the competition that ignites and unites the greats of golf like no other? 1927 brought us the very first edition at the Worcester Country Club in Massachusetts. For the first 22 editions, when it was just British and Irish golfers versus the US, America were only beaten 3 times. But in 1979, in came Europe, and in came Seve Ballesteros, who went on to win 5 of them. Since Team Europe became a thing, the head-to-head reads Europe 13, USA 9. Europe's last away win was the miracle at Medina in 2012. America hasn't won on European soil since 1993 at the Belfry. So what about the money? The most recent Ryder Cup in Rome drew in a record 271,000 spectators and boosted the Italian economy by 262 million euros. The PGA of America TV deal with NBC is worth $440 million, but 2025 will be the first time ever that the US team will receive a fee for playing. Of course, in Rome, legend has it Patrick Cantley refused to wear his cap because he wasn't being paid to wear it, though he insisted it simply didn't fit. Either way, Team Europe have made it clear they're more than happy to keep playing for the thrill, joy and prestige of the Ryder Cup.
How's it going? You're listening to Early Breakfast here on talkSPORT with Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. Shebahn here, Alan Brazil with you at 6 o'clock this morning alongside Gabby Agbon-Lahorst, who I'm sure is going to have a right party this morning. We have been reflecting on the madness at Blundell Park last night. Ruben Amorim said sorry to Manchester United fans after the most embarrassing defeat of his woeful tenure so far. They're out of the League Cup, losing 12-11 on penalties to Grimsby. They put the Grim in Grimsby. On the sports bar last night, Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara left a voicemail for Manchester United fan Andy Goldstein.
Here we go. Go off the track, ready?
The hash key for more options.
Anyone say that? Andy Goldstein. Mistakes. You always do it. Hello, BT.
Shambles, Goldstein. What's up with you giving it the big one? Shambles. 4 till 7. 4 till 7. Shambles.
Get the clown music.
Clown music, Goldstein. Go on, send it him. Go on, get it up. Where is it? Goldstein. Here we go. Hey, glory, Man United.
Oh, there's nothing like it, getting a voicemail like that. Andy must put his phone on sleep when Man United play, or probably every night, but that did tickle me when I heard that this morning. We heard from Man United fans almost on tears on the sports bar last night. Here's Hassan.
Lads, as soon as Bruno stepped up for that penalty, I said to my missus, Jason, no, stop, no, stop.
Oh, we ain't doing nothing.
We ain't doing nothing, mate. Got no control.
Oh, mate, I can't. I'm going to break into tears. Stop it.
What do you mean?
Oh, I'm going to cry. I'm genuine. I can't do this anymore, Jace. I can't. I said to my missus, as soon as Bruno stepped up, Jason's going to be laughing at us tonight because we're a laughing stock. Firstly, Brimsby found.
He wouldn't do that, mate.
Well done, boys. But other than that, honestly, everyone at Manchester, I want to take this scout who picked Nana out for Nando's. No, stop. Oh.
That's so embarrassing. Oh my God, Hassan. You can't call up national radio and nearly cry at those two. They're not going to give you any sort of sympathy. 03717 223344 is the number. Good morning to Daniel, the Manchester United fan. Daniel, were you on the verge of tears last night?
not quite tears, but I've kind of reached the end of the road with Amorim, to be honest. I just don't think the 3-4-2-1 or whatever system he's trying to play is working. I think stats point to that. If you look at the amount of Premier League games won in nearly really a whole season of Premier League games. If you look at 29, is it, Premier League games and 7 wins? Mm-hmm. That's nearly a whole season, and he's won 7 games. You know, that's relegation form. Sorry, but it is. Yeah. And, you know, I just think some of the players, yes, are to blame, but, you know, we've done good transfer business this summer, particularly in the attacking areas. You look at Sesko and Bremo, Cunha, the goals that should have brought to the team. We just, you know, we shouldn't be good enough to beat Grimsby. I'm sorry, we should be, you know, in 90 minutes, not going to penalties. Yeah,
no, you're right. We should be good enough to beat Grimsby, that's for sure, and you can't take it away from them. They were by far the better team last night. Daniel, it's Burnley this weekend. What happens after that if, touchwood, it's to be another defeat for Ruben Amorim?
Well, I don't think this can go on for long, because I think he was given benefit of the doubt last season. He didn't have a pre-season, for example. Some of it wasn't his players, but I just think those stats are too damning. I think if we get to sort of beyond Burnley and we're not winning games, you know, as well as we're playing, you know, that doesn't get you points, does it? And you've got to start putting wins on the board. And if he doesn't, I don't see a future for him at Manchester United, unfortunately.
Yeah, Daniel, I feel your frustration this morning. 03717 223344 is the number. I mentioned this earlier on. Trending on social media, Amorim in, and then there's also Amorim out. A lot of people are giving up after that performance last night. It is a real new low for Manchester United, being beaten by League Two's at Grimsby. They're going to travel to Championship Sheffield Wednesday in the third round of the Cup. After that 12-11 penalty shootout, spectacular win at Blundell Park. Unbelievable stuff. Everton's 2-0 win over Mansfield sets up an all-Premier League tie at Wolves, while Brighton will face Barnsley after thrashing Oxford 6-0. Holders Newcastle will start their defence at home to League One Bradford. Last season's runners-up Liverpool will also face Southampton, and Lee continue their battle for a top 2 finish in Rugby Super League when they host strugglers Castleford. That's this evening. That game, by the way, is live on talkSPORT 2 from 7:45 this evening. Quick transfer roundup for you this morning. We understand Savinho will remain at Manchester City this summer. The Brazilian has been heavily linked with a move away from the Etihad, so with Tottenham Hotspur considering a move, but it looks like he's going to stay with Pep. Meanwhile, we understand Spurs are looking to hijack Chelsea's deal for Leipzig attacking midfielder Xavi Simons. The 22-year-old Dutch attacker has already agreed terms with Chelsea, but no club-to-club agreement is in place. We also understand that Chelsea have made progress in their bid to sign Alejandro Garnacho in the last 24 hours. Chelsea looking to strike a deal for under Manchester United's £50 million asking price. Speaking after Man United's defeat at Grimsby, Dean Ashton said it would be best for both parties if Garnacho left it this summer.
Undoubtedly super talented, there's no doubt, and when he plays, I think actually his attitude is pretty good, but I don't think he's handled himself very well at all. I'm surprised it's taken this long for him to leave. I think it's the right decision for both parties, actually, and I think Ruben Amorim will want better characters than Garnacho in his side.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's clearly thrown his toys out the pram. Garnacho, he's a great player, but it's not working. I think a move to Chelsea would be good for him. And listen, it'll probably work out okay for him as well. You want the right characters at Manchester United. Still can't believe last night happened. Honestly, I cannot believe it. It's just an all-time low. Where do they go from here? Speaking of the deadline day and transfers, by the way, we've got a deadline day special coming up for you on talkSPORT. Deadline day drive. It's Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent from 4 o'clock on Monday the 1st of September. And then there's the deadline day special with Mr. Yellow Tie deadline day expert himself, Jim White, Alex Crook and Danny Murphy here on talkSPORT, going through all of the last minute deals before they are all wrapped up. And you can get more on transfers on our website, talksport.com. And our man in the know, Crookie, will be here on Breakfast with Alan Brazil a little bit later on. Time to lighten things up now with Nick.
It's a front page throwdown.
Oh, what a move!
The front page is first on the early sports breakfast.
talkSPORT.
Please, anything.
Hello again. We will try and get away from the football just for a minute. I know you're getting away, like you said you would if Man United lost.
Yeah.
Are you worried about what are the temperatures like in Greece at the moment?
Like 28, 29 degrees.
Wow, okay, that's great. So are you concerned about getting a spot on sun loungers? What's the situation?
No, I think I'll be okay.
You're in a hotel?
Hopefully it'll be okay. No, it's a kind of, it's like a resort, but you have your own, it's like villas, and then you've got like kind of a kind of resort area type thing.
Very posh.
Very posh, aye.
Listen to this. Sunbed snores. Now Brits are sleeping on loungers to bag best spots.
Oh, they're not.
Is this your photo here?
This is somebody hammered and falling asleep in the sun lounger, sure.
Desperate Brits are kipping overnight on poolside lounges as sunbed wars reach boiling point. This has happened at a luxury hotel in, I think it's in the Canary Islands. Tourist Ben Smith was gobsmacked when he saw the best beds had been grabbed in the dark at his £259 a night hotel. Says people reserve the beds, but the hotel has a policy: if your bed's left unattended, they will remove the towels, so people just sleep on them.
So what about if you go for a wee in this situation?
I think you're allowed to go to the toilet. What's happening is people are coming down at the crack of dawn, finishing their sleep on the sun lounger, and then when the sun comes up, they're ready.
I have to say, I found myself going, oh, I'm a sun lounger hogger.
You are.
When we were in Portugal recently for my brother-in-law's wedding, and we were all putting stuff on sun loungers, acting like they were claimed before people had arrived.
I got a great talkSPORT towel, which is the Euros one, which is I think it says no one ever beats us to it or something, with the German flag.
Yeah, we were proud of that.
Brilliant bit of merch.
That pun, yeah.
Meanwhile, Brit living in Benidorm says English people are taking over and is urging them to stop moving there. Bit rich, Harry Poulton, 24, originally from Brighton. He's talking about his travel experiences on TikTok. He says a lot of the Spanish culture is getting diluted with Brits moving here. All the way with the way things are, English will soon be the first language in Benidorm.
Oh yes, baby, Tricky Vicky.
And meanwhile, you excited for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce?
Absolutely. I'm hoping I'm going to be asked to be bridesmaid.
Well, their wedding post is on track to becoming the most liked post ever on Instagram. Do you know what the most liked post ever is?
I do know. It was something to do with Ronaldo.
It's actually Lionel Messi lifting the World Cup in Qatar. 74.5 million likes. But the Taylor and Travis engagement post has got 30.3 million likes in under 24 hours. That's now already the 20th most liked post in Instagram history. Must have gone up since then. So they are on track to continue to break the internet.
As Alan Brazil told me yesterday that nobody cares about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Okay then, just the 30 million.
A lot of people care. I'm not one of them.
I'll correct him a little bit later on. Nick, thank you very much. You listen to Early Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we're going to continue the fallout from Manchester United's horrid defeat last night to the elite League 2 Grimsby Town. Fair play to them. Their goalkeeper, Christy Pym, is going to be on talkSPORT Breakfast a little bit later on this morning with Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor. Good morning to you. Good morning, it's Shebahn Aherne. You're listening to Early Breakfast here on talkSPORT with Adrian Flux. We're building up to talkSPORT Breakfast back at 6 o'clock this morning with Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbon Lahore, who I believe is up for the cup this morning. Man United fans, get your earmuffs on. You're going to need them today. We're also building up to the Champions League draw. We're going to have it live here on talkSPORT for you today. No Rangers, certainly no Manchester United, no Celtic, but lots of good teams hoping to avoid a long old round trip to the mighty Cairo Almaty.
These are the maestros, the best teams, the big teams, the champions.
PSG, remarkable tonight. They've won by 5 goals to 0, and they are finally European champions.
Arsenal 2, Real Madrid 0. Declan Rice at the double.
Finishers flinging it past Edison. Bellingham.
Oh my God.
3-2 Real Madrid.
The huge cheer. Newcastle Champions League football.
That Champions League music's going to be ringing out at St James's Park again.
Running in Harvey Elliott. Oh! Liverpool have scored. You cannot begin to describe it.
Liam Delap crosses from the right. Enzo Fernandez is there.
It's Champions League football once again for Chelsea.
Lisa with a cross towards Harry Kane. And Harry Kane heads Bayern Munich into an early lead. It's glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspur. Their first major trophy for 17 years.
They'll be in the Champions League next season. Let that sink in.
I don't think the Champions League ever lets us down. I really don't.
Stand by for drama.
The Champions League draw is this afternoon live here on talkSPORT. Kevin Hatchard is going to be on Drive reacting to the matchups as they come out. Don't forget, Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent with you on Drive today on talkSPORT. If you're heading out and about, download the talkSPORT app. You can take the guys with you wherever you're going and get all the news from the Champions League draw. So also here on talkSPORT today, Lord Simon Jordan, 10 o'clock, alongside Jim White. I was chatting to Jim yesterday actually in the office. We were talking about Scottish football. This is obviously before Rangers and what happened to them last night. We were reacting to Celtic and, you know, just the absolute state of the way things are, you know, at the moment in Scottish football, and how Celtic became like a bit of a laughing stock. You know, they did yesterday, the reaction here on talkSPORT. It's just an absolute shame. And I said to Jim, you know, it's how quickly it changes. You look at Celtic's progress in the Champions League last season. I remember sitting here and focusing on how good the progress had been for the club. And then very, very quickly, it all changes. The good thing is that these teams in Scotland have the most incredible loyal fan bases. And even when times are really, really tough, they will not stop loving these teams, albeit an absolute nightmare this week for Scottish football. We've got the Old Firm to look forward to this Sunday. Who will come out on top, Brendan Rodgers or Russell Martin? You'll find out all the goals as they go in this Sunday here on talkSPORT on Game Day Live. But anyway, going back to what I was initially saying, Simon Jordan back alongside Jim White today on talkSPORT. He's actually really quite sweet and soft once you just get through the hard exterior and the guy shouting really big words at you. Simon said it was good to hear Jack Grealish open up this week about not enjoying his football at Manchester City and being happier at Everton.
I'm the first one to say that the rewards and the recognition of football provide such an opportunity that it's a rarefied air. But if it's the only air you know, and the only environment you've been brought up in is in that space, then what else do you know about the hardships of other people? So when people go, well, you're on this amount of money, that shouldn't be part of the equation, really. Money only comes into the equation. Oh, do you know he's on 200 grand a week when they're not doing what they should be doing, which is playing very well. He's well within his right at a moment, not during the time over the last... You haven't heard him talk about not enjoying his football over the last 2 years. You've heard him say in context to a moment where he's clearly back into a situation where he's valued, wants to be part of a side that want him in the team now. Yeah. And he's saying, I struggled with it a little bit. Because people are, you know, by the way, irrespective of the wonderful opportunities of football, people are allowed to fall out of love with the job that they are doing.
Yes, Simon Jordan, you're very right about that. And it looks like Jack Grealish is back in love with the job that he's doing. And the opportunity that he's got at Everton, not as an impact last night for Everton, but again, more minutes. Good to see him back playing his best. Everton beating Mansfield in the Cup at 2-0. 1-0 last night. Jim and Simon back at 10 o'clock this morning. Alan and Gabby are with you from 6, and yesterday they had the young superstar Rio Ungamua's childhood coach on the show. His name is Saul Isaacson Hurst. Sorry, hold on. Hold on a minute, I just butchered that. Saul Isaacson Hurst. Forgive me, Saul. Alan and Gabby absolutely loved this. It was a really good chat, and he told the boys about Rio's impressive work ethic off the pitch.
Yeah, listen, like I said, he worked tirelessly away from training, in terms of with his brother James up the five-side centres, putting the hours in non-stop. And I think it's really, he's a great example, a role model for all academy players. Once you get there, you haven't made it. It's just the start of the journey, even when you sign your first pro. So he knows that, you got to put that work in. Those marginal gains are so important, and that 1 or 2% can be a real game changer. So he's, like I said, he's a great young pro now, and he puts on the hours. He's always done that since a young age.
Absolute superstar he is. We hope to see the best of young Rio Ungamua going forward this season for Liverpool. Really interesting chat with his childhood coach yesterday on talkSPORT Breakfast. If you have just joined us, good morning. Simon Jordan was talking about falling out of love with the job that you do. I might say I've done that this week myself after Celtic and Manchester United, being absolutely embarrassed in their games respectively this week. Just unbelievable stuff. I mean, I just didn't think it could get any worse or get any lower, and then it does. It gets worse sometimes. talkSPORT Breakfast on the way today, and it will not stop. The pressure is on Ruben Amorim. Hook, line and stinker is back page of the Sun this morning. Drama as Happy Haddock boys knock out Amorim on penalties. Yes, Grimsby are through to the next round of the League Cup, and they were by far the better team last night. Can it possibly get any worse, is the headline in the back page of the Daily Mail. Well, we've got Burnley this weekend, so we'll wait and see what happens there. Grim for Amorim is the headline in the Times, and the Telegraph Sport is saying grim reapers. United reeling as Grimsby land one of the greatest cup shocks. Coming up for you on talkSPORT Breakfast today, the man, the hero in goal for Grimsby last night, the Man United fan himself, Christy Pym, the goalkeeper, is going to be here on the show with Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor this morning. I don't know if you've seen his quote going around. He said last night after the game, "I'm a Manchester United fan, I'm half fuming." It'll be brilliant to hear from Christy Pym today, who looked absolutely pumped last night. Guardian Manchester correspondent Jamie Jackson will be here to give us the latest on how things are looking for Ruben Amorim under extreme pressure. Mickey Gray is also going to be with us on the show as well. Leeds legend Eddie Gray will talk about the pressure mounting on Daniel Farke as well. This is Early Breakfast here on talkSPORT with Adrian Flux. Insurance for the individual. Find out more, adrianflux.co.uk. talkSPORT Breakfast on the way next.